so Beincert, first of all, there's a partnership between Beincert and Fonalia. So Beincert platform is a kind of digital solutions, how to get certified. So Beincert is an accredited organization to deliver training courses and consultancy services for a broad range of professional certification schemes. You can take QGIS exam online with Beincert or in our partners test centers. You can also get access to our trainings for preparing to get your QGIS certification, which are available on our website, www.beincert.com. So our digital solutions allows you to get certified. So you have accredited certifications. You can take exams from home or with a protected system, and you can get our full support until you get certified. So this, the Beincert programs are as we have here. So we have four Beincert programs. First one is QGIS Basic. So you have this is a program where you acquire the theoretical and practical basis related to GIS system. You learn how to use QGIS software to view, analyze, and map geographic data. And you're going to be able to translate a problem in GIS language. The second program is QGIS analysis. That helps you learn how to do raster and vector GIS analysis, joining the power of tools like GRASS, Saga, Orfeo, Toolbox, etc., with the ease of use of QGIS. The course is aimed to who wants to learn how to use the GIS to do predictive analysis. It is advised to have at least basic knowledge about SIG software, and we suggest also to have a basic knowledge about QGIS. Number 3 is what we call the web mapping with QGIS. So to learn how to use the most innovative and simplest environment to publish maps on the web, completely based on the QGIS stack. It allows you also to publish on the web maps created with QGIS desktop without any need of complex configuration operations. Upon completion of the course, trainees will dispose of a fully featured virtual WebGIS server, ready to be uploaded to any virtualized environment provider. It is necessary to have basic skills of GIS and cartography. Last but not least, the PyQGIS developer. So it's a Python developer. To understand how to power up QGIS with your Python scripting language, the aim is to provide the tools and the basic knowledge to develop Python scripts and plugins. After a quick introduction to Python, the participants will be guided step by step to develop scripts and a plugin. Knowledge of basic Python skills is useful, but not necessary. A basic knowledge of programming principles and QGIS is needed. You get certified online. So with Beincert, there are easy steps to get certified. You just have to choose an available certification below. You book an exam online. You prepare for the exam with Beincert trainings. You take the exam, and then you get an international accredited QGIS certification. So these are some examples of the certifications. This is the one for QGIS Basic, okay? Then we have the one for the QGIS analysis, one for the web mapping with QGIS, and the last one is the Python GIS developer. So the monitoring of the exams. So our exams are identity verification and automated digital remote protector solution, helping to ensure higher education, ensure the integrity of their high stakes online assessments. So we're looking forward to see you become a Beincert authorized test center. I think Matteo is going to be with us right now to keep up with Fonalia presentation and the rest of the presentation. Thank you, Matteo.
Thank you, Mr. Tawfiq. Thank you for the presentation. Now we will introduce you Mr. Paolo Cavanelli, which is CEO of QGIS Project. He will present you the QGIS project and give you enough information about QGIS as a share my
So I want just to give you a brief outline of my experience with the QGIS and what is the stage of the project now. So, well, the history is rather long because we have been around for 20 years, and of course lots of things have happened, and I have my personal selection of the most important thing that happened during the life of the project. Of course, the start of the project, it was actually 18 years ago in 2002, and Gary Sherman started all this exercise just by, as we say in open source software, scratching the hitch, which means that he had a problem and they found a solution for that. He wanted just to see his PostGIS data, and no viewer was available at that time, and he created a viewer on himself. But the big thing is that he was clever enough to give this to everybody. So he did this as a free software, and so other people could come and help and contribute to this project. Okay. And at that time, I was working with GRASS. GRASS was very powerful at that time already. It's the oldest free software around, and it's probably the oldest GIS, which is still alive now. So I was working with that, and I saw this as a very small project, and they didn't do what I was needing. So I just say, okay, nice project, but it's not what I need. And I went on working with GRASS. Okay, no, you go back, sorry. Please go back. No, go back to, yeah, the first. Okay, and the second now. Okay, second thing is GRASS, GRASS plugin in particular. As I said, QGIS was pretty small as a project and didn't have many capabilities of a full GIS. And then Radim Blajek, one of my heroes, went and say, okay, I can probably connect QGIS, this nice interface, to our very powerful GRASS engine. And so he did. And now things became interesting because people could really do serious GIS job from a modern, nice-looking interface, easy to work with. And then I started contributing to the project. It was then interesting to me, just developing the tools that people could use. So I did quite a bit of work implementing GRASS tools inside QGIS. Next slide, please. Next slide, Brad. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, of course.
Next slide. Okay. The next important step was the Python plugins. Developing in QGIS is not easy. It's not for everybody. So we missed something to easily implement some additional function. And Martin Dobias actually did this by connecting QGIS to the Python programming language. And so it became easy for everybody. Well, not really everybody, but you know, for a skilled computer person, was relatively easy to do what they needed, so to implement plugins, extensions for QGIS. And that proved a huge success. We have now thousands of plugins that do well, anything possible, probably. So they fill up many gaps in your workflow, and it was very, very important. That's with this really QGIS took off the ground. Next slide. Next slide, please. Hello. Hello. Next slide, please. Hello. Oh, okay, good. And then a further development. Now, then the fourth, number 4. Another important thing was. Can you go back one step, please? Hello? Hello? Can you go back? Back. Number 4. Back, please. Number 4. Okay, good. So, Hackfest, what we call Hackfest, and now we call it a contributor meeting, but there were actual physical meetings, where people could talk in person, could develop a trust, etc. So that was a really good momentum for our project. We got to know each other better. We got to go much faster because of the trust we developed. So that was something that was very important, and we are keeping on with this. We have an history of 10 years of this meeting now. Next slide. Okay. The next thing that was very important, made by Victor Olaya, a Spanish developer. He had this nice idea of gluing together not just grass as an analysis, a GIS analysis, but putting many different things like Saga, etc., etc. So he did this plugin, which was an independent plugin at that time. And that was really pretty exciting for people like me that do a lot of GIS analysis. And so we integrated this into QGIS, and now this is called processing. Of course, it had thousands of improvements by that time, but still, it's one of the main thing for our project. So with this tool, we actually can do complex analysis from the very easy interface of QGIS using really hundreds of different algorithms from different backends. Next slide. This was also very important because we showed our very open approach of allowing people to come and join our project. That was very important to us because people coming and improving the project was really the blood of the project. Next time was another very brilliant developer, which is called Niall Dawson from Australia. He proved probably the most successful developer in the project, and he's doing really very nice thing. Also with an eye on candies or things that are really probably not very important for the serious GIS operator, but they are very important for the normal people that just want nice maps and things like that. So he did at first this color blending, which we still use, and which allowed us to produce maps that are even nicer than the proprietary alternative. So we started doing things that the more famous, the older, more famous GIS weren't capable to do. So we started to actually lead the development of the GIS world, which was, of course, a very important thing for us. Next slide, please. Okay, then another thing that is very important to me is the QGIS server. QGIS is famous now for as a desktop environment, but it's also very good and important web server, so we can publish easily maps on the web. And in 2 years ago, QGIS became an OGC standard, so a reference implementation for some of these standards. OGC stands for Open Geospatial Consortium, so it became kind of official. Okay, so we are the reference implementation, and that's a measure of our success in the bigger GIS community. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so how is the project doing? What is the stage of the art? Next slide. Okay, we are doing very well. This is a measure. It's a rather obscure measure computed by Google. So we don't know exactly what does it mean, but it's an index of popularity of a project over the internet. And you see that there is the red line is the most famous, most known GIS project. And you know, it was we were very tiny for many years compared to that, but now we are starting to overcome. So we became more and more famous, and now we are approaching very closely what is the market leading GIS. And if you see these trends, we are increasing; they are decreasing. So we hope in the next few years we will actually overcome fully any other GIS solution. Okay, next slide. This is very different from country to country. You can try yourself with your own country. And in most countries, we are already top. Okay. This Okay, this is it's very important. There are a few countries where the other alternative is more popular, but in most countries actually we are already the first GIS in the market. Next slide. Okay, you see that there are very few countries where, well, big ones, but few countries that have the proprietary alternative as the leading. But we conquered mostly Europe and a big part of the rest of the world. Next slide. Okay, we have probably 1 million users. That's my guesstimate. Of course, we don't know how many because it's a free software. Everybody can download it without asking anything. So we cannot know, and we decide not to plug in the program. You know, programs calling back us and telling who's using and how is using. That's our choice, you know, for privacy and for the respect of the user. But given that we have more or less 1 million downloads for every release, we estimate that we have roughly 1 million users. Next slide, please. Okay, that's where most of the downloads come from. So it's Europe, it's America, and the rest is a little bit less, but that depends also on the location of the server, which is closer to your place. Next slide. And we are actually one of the biggest open source projects around. We are in the top 20%, the 2% of software. So we are on par of the very big project, which is quite something for us. We started as a small thing, as you have seen, but we are now a big entity. Okay, next slide. Another encouraging thing is that the activity around the project is very big. You see, this is the number of new pieces of code that are added over time. And you see that this activity is very strong, and it's mostly increasing over time. Of course, lots of spikes around, but we do more than we did 5 years ago and so on. Next slide. Okay, this is where who are our top developers and where they are. As you have seen, they are spread throughout the world, even though we have a concentration in Europe. And if you see this list, you see our main heroes, people that contribute more to the project. Of course, this list is dynamic, it's changing over time because we have new people coming, people stopping with developing, other taking their place, and so on. Okay, next slide. Okay. You see here a measure of our development. These are rather old slides. It's a bit difficult to keep updated because we have so many new features that it's not easy. So you see that this is the number of new feature that we add to each version, and you see it's quite an impressive number, and it's actually increasing. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the number of new feature per developer, and you see that there is one guy who's doing most of the job. Okay, even though there are many that just add something interesting to each version of QGIS. Next slide. Okay. One thing that's especially important for me, as I said, I do mostly analysis in GIS. Well, nowadays I do lots of web also, but so the number of new feature in the analysis sector is the biggest one. But you see that it's an even effort because in many other fields we have quite a good number of new feature for each version. So that's encouraging also for the health of the project. Next slide. Okay, you see this in perspective in the various versions of QGIS. Next slide. Next slide. You see that we have over 1,000 plugins. I already told you. Actually, now there are even more than that. Almost every day we got new plugins. Really, that's really impressive. And one interesting thing is that QGIS it's also much used in conjunction with other software. So QGIS it's used as a front end of your preferred web or enterprise solution. So this means that we are really taking grounds throughout the world in the whole IT stack, which is something that brings good things for the future. Next slide. Okay, this is just my side project, which I like very much. It's a way of downloading weather forecast directly from QGIS. You download this plugin and you zoom to your place of interest where you want to have your holidays, when we will be able to, or your hometown or whatever, and you download the forecast, the rainfall, the wind, etc. For the next few days. Just an idea of what you can do with QGIS easily. Okay, next slide. Okay, we have also a program of user groups, and so each country can have a QGIS user group. They have rights to vote in our organization, so they are really a part of the QGIS. As you've seen, we have plenty of user groups, but we also have a number of other countries where we still don't have. So you are encouraged to build up a community and build up your QGIS user group for your own country. Next slide. As I told you, we have this HackFest program, which is interesting, and we are trying to expand. We are historically we started in Europe, and we have plenty of HackFest that runs in Europe. But we are trying to go broader. We went to Africa, we went to Canary Islands, etc., to Tanzania, and so on. So we hope to have an even broader program if this current situation solves itself somehow. Next slide. Okay, we have quite a few sponsors and donors, big organizations, bigger and smaller organizations that decide to invest some money in the future of QGIS. And that makes a lot of sense. If you use in your enterprise QGIS and you save hundreds of thousands of dollars by this use, it makes sense to invest a little percentage of this, of what you save, to make sure that your QGIS will continue to improve, will be better at the next release, will have more bug fixes, and so on. Next slide. To protect the future of QGIS, we decided a few years ago to build up an association which has a democratic structure. We want everybody to be involved, so we want both user group and developers in the big decision. So yeah. Okay, next slide. This is how we spend the money that you can donate to QGIS. Every donation is important, even $1 is nice, but we have people that decide to invest $10,000 in QGIS, which is, of course, is good. And you see that we spent very, very little in things that are not directly related to the improvement of QGIS. Of course, we have some administration, we have to administer our server, etc., but the huge majority of the money goes directly to bug fixing and to a new project that improves QGIS. So by donating to QGIS, you make sure that you have a better QGIS just tomorrow. Okay, next slide. Okay. One important thing is that QGIS is free, but it's not just free because you don't pay for it, but it's really open to your contribution. So if you want something, it's possible for you to increase your probability of having it. Of course, if you have programming skills, the easiest is just to go and implement your function, or to have someone, a friend, doing it for you, or your employee or something. If you cannot, for some reason, if you are not able to program yourself, you can just pay something for doing that. Of course, this is much less expensive than you can think. Very often you see a feature that you think it's complex, but it's just a matter of investing a little bit of money, and you have it. And so you are really, really very encouraged to explore this possibility. This really makes the difference between using a closed source program that you just take it as it is, and having an open source that you can just modify and improve yourself. Okay. If you cannot, because you don't have the resources to do something, either directly or indirectly, you can just explain what's your problem. If you find a bug and you explain well what is this bug and what is your problem and what would you like to have as a result, if you're able to do that, then your chances will be much greater to have this implemented, even for free. Because if you have a very good idea, a developer can say, okay, this is interesting, I can fix this. Or if you find a bug that it's easy to fix and you explain well, you bring your data, etc., then a developer can say, okay, this is very annoying, I can do it. Okay? So this is something that you can do. So of course it's not compulsory, everything is free, but if you do that, you will have a better QGIS, so your life will be easier in the near future. Okay. So this is This is our guides, okay, how to implement this. And of course, we are doing much more and more crowdfunding. This is a nice way of having something done. So even if you don't have the full amount of money needed for something, you can put some seed money and start a campaign. You contact your preferred developer and say, okay, listen, how much you want to do that? Okay, yes, I can do, you can make 10% of this, but I can find other people that are interested to implement this, and together we can do all this. Okay? So this is a short guide. I cannot go into detail with that, but you can have an idea. And if you are interested in that, of course, you can contact me or any developer of QGIS, and we can discuss the detail on how to improve this. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I leave the talk to Matteo.
Okay, so I will just very briefly present myself. My name is Matteo Ghetta. I'm an environmental scientist and currently working as GIS developer in Faunalia together with Paolo Cavallini, that was the QGIS chair, chair of the QGIS organization. And Faunalia is an Italian company that has more than 20 years in experience in GIS training, consultancy, and development in all the branches and through all the world. Okay, we have one of the main aim of our company is training. We are doing training in QGIS, QGIS Server, and LeadsMap, so WebJS related, Postgres, together with PostGIS, so database, and also Python, pure Python, or plugin development within QGIS. We have made more or less 350 trainings all over the world, and we have trained more than 5,000 people all over the world. Another branch of our interest is the, oops, sorry. I'll just close it. Okay, so another branch of our activity is the development. We are QGIS core contributor. We have some active contribution also in QGIS Server and LeadsMap. We have been GRESS core developer that uses open source GIS software, and also PostGIS core developer. We have developed in these 20 years more than 30 plugins that are public available, and a lot of private company plugins as well for QGIS. Some of the main tools that we have developed are, for example, the database manager in QGIS. So if you use QGIS, I'm pretty sure that you hit this plugin that is a core plugin. Another tool that has been developed and now is fully integrated within QGIS in processing was the old GDAL tools plugin. So you can use GDAL commands within QGIS thanks to this plugin. And another recent plugin is the data plotly plugin that allows you to draw interactive plots, D3 style plot within QGIS itself. Many others. As I said, we have more than 30-40 plugins public available in the main QGIS official page. One of the main contribution that we have made in GRESS is the RLI module, that is a tool to study the landscape structure within GRESS, so through rasters in this case, raster data in this case, and many different tools in PostGIS. Of course, always GIS related, so we have enhanced the topology support and many different functions like split, is valid detail, and an important one is make valid, and many other ones. We have one of the focus that we are doing in our company is the development of WebGIS. Okay, so one tool that we are using massively is LeadsMap, and we are core contributor of LeadsMap, both in documentation, testing, bug fixes, etc. We have more than 50 WebJS published, privately and public available, both. Just a small gallery of the available web maps, WebGIS portals that we have, one and another one with some special analysis tool. And last but not least, we are doing a lot of consultancy, GIS related, mostly QGIS, but not only GIS. We are doing a lot of database administration, consultancy, and of course, a lot of Linux server administration as well. So that was a brief and quick presentation of Faunalia. That was it.
Who will describe what is Faunalia and what we are doing with QGIS and the Netherlands only. So thanks for listening, and see you somewhere in the QGIS world. Bye.
Thank you very much, Paulo. Thank you very much, Matthew. I thank you very much also to all people coming and assisting for this presentation. So you have to know that there is a partnership between Faunalia as a big organization, in QGIS organization, and Mr. Paolo Cavanelli is the CEO of QGIS Project. Mr. Matthew is co-founder of Faunalia, and with the partnership with Beincert, actually, we are available to deliver QGIS certification. Okay, we have a good platform, Beincert platform, which allow you to choose one of 4 certification present in the platform, and you can go to deliver or to perform your exam online. We have a protected system, which is the most efficient in technologically. So we have a protected system from anywhere. And other side, we are also with the partnership with other training and certification organizations, and we need that this kind of certification improve the quality. Thank you very much. I let you do. We'll ask if you have some questions to our to Mr. Paulo or to Mr. Matthew. If you have any question, please.
Yeah, I do have a question. Is that okay?
Okay.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Mr. Ahmed Walid. Mr. Ahmed Walid, you have a question. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I have a question. Maybe it's related to the QGIS project, and it's probably, it's destined to whoever can answer it, because I remember I tweeted it a couple of days ago, but I didn't get an answer to that. And my question is a little bit about, it was just like, I was just trying to imagine what would happen to the QGIS project if, for example, any leaders of QGIS software providers would open up their product as open source. So how do you see like, for example, the QGIS project will evolve in that sense?
Okay, thank you. Matthew?
So actually, I didn't hear you well. So can you just briefly repeat your question? It's about some company that can acquire QGIS. Was it about that?
No. It was more about, so for example, let's imagine like one of the other providers of QGIS software. If for example they open up their products and it becomes open source, like how would the QGIS project evolve in that sense?
Well, that's I will say that if more GIS provider or software provider gets open, that's a good sign for us. I mean, that's a good sign for QGIS. So we, as Paulo told you, I mean, that's Paulo presented in the presentation, QGIS right now and since many years, you can use other additional software within QGIS itself. So if you have more software that we can use within QGIS itself, that's better for us. For example, you can use QGIS within R, that's the statistical software. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Okay, so the idea then is to bring in as many contributors as
Yeah,
possible. And that's how.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Other question? Hi. Other question, please. Is there any more question, please? Is there any more question?
Well, I do have another question, but it's directed to Beincert, not.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. Yeah. So I was hearing you at the beginning saying like you were saying that there's an exam that you pass and to get certification, and then I got a little bit confused because it sounded like the exam is separate from a training. So is that how it is? So you do an exam that is separate from a training, or how does it happen?
Yeah, I think there is two kinds of training. Okay, there is the academic training who can give candidates some elements according to QGIS. Okay, QGIS. And in the another way, we have a training to prepare candidates for certification. Okay, so there is two kinds of training.
Okay. So if someone already has a certain level in QGIS, they can just come and take the test.
Exactly. If you have, as you know, the QGIS documents are free. Okay, you can have it. You can prepare yourself for the exam, and you can choose in our platform, Beincert platform, just to perform the exam. Okay. In the other way, if some people who is just initiated to QGIS, he can ask both training to prepare themselves for the exam, and at the same time he has the possibility to perform exam and to pass the exam. Yes.
All right, good. And what kind of exam is it? I mean, is it like more of a answering questions, or is it like an exercise, or?
No, there is just question and to choose multiple choice question.
All right. Okay. Good.
Okay.
All right. Good. Thanks.
So, are there any more questions, please? Hello, there is any more question? Do you send question by text? Okay, we'll see. Just one moment. Okay, thanks to all. So thank you very much. It was very nice to meet of you. Thank you, Mr. Matteo. Thank you, Mr. Paulo, and Mr.
Thank you.
Okay, for assisting for this presentation, and we invite you to visit our platform and to tell your friend, your partner, your other partner about our project and our product. And see you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.